Hello, I am Natasha and this is my sister London. We are some of the Think Ahead Kids Foundation founders, and we interview inspirational people like you. And today we have a very special guest with us, digital creator Mauro Gatti. So how are you today, Mauro?
I am great. Thank you for the invitation.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am Italian originally, so I was born in a small town near Milan, but I've traveled much, and I've been living in the States for the good part of the past 11 years. I'm a creative person, which means that I don't do one creative thing specifically. I do so many. So in my career, I work in TV, advertising, digital, animation, and whatnot. And I love that.
What kind of art do you do?
That's a good question. I just like to the thing that I like to do the most is just like quickly draw whatever comes to my mind. I'm not an artist. I never went to school. I didn't do any traditional path to do what I want. I just like to draw. So
Drawing's fun.
Drawing is super fun, and for me, it's do you know about mindfulness? Like do things that relaxes you and so forth.
Yeah.
So to me,
It's relaxing.
yeah, drawing is a super relaxing thing. Like I travel a lot, so when I travel, I don't like flying. I do fly, but I don't like flying. So when I'm on the plane, just to stay relaxed, I just draw all the time. So
Draw whatever you think of.
sorry.
You draw whatever you think of.
Yeah. I don't know. Like if I'm on a plane, maybe I see someone, I draw the person. They don't know, or I just draw ideas. Like I usually, what I love to do is to look at non-animated objects and just draw eyes on them. Like just do little, give things personalities.
And what school did you go to?
So I didn't go to any art school. So I don't know what compares to the US, but I think my high school, I did classic studies. So I studied Latin, Greek, but I always loved to draw. If you look at my big books in school, they were full of my doodles and sketches and stuff. And then fun fact is that I wanted to be a doctor. So I enrolled in medicine, but after 1 year I was like, nah, I just want to do something creative. And I started to work into this like beautiful field.
That's wonderful.
My parents were both working, hardworking people. And so when I was a kid, I was spending the majority of my time watching TV and just drawing what I, was watching on TV. So, and
Characters in the show.
Characters from the show, but one of the things that like pushed me to do what I'm doing now is that when I was a kid, I quickly found out that like my drawings were like making people laugh, and so
Very nice.
yeah, right. And so to me, that's like a great power, like if you do something and it's something funny and people laugh. It's an amazing thing because someone might have a bad day and maybe you just show like something funny and they're just like happy at that point.
Yeah.
How do you do digital moving art?
How I do digital moving art? I mean,
Like
there are like different techniques. What I love the most is the oldest technique, which is like you design, you draw every single frame, and has this like feeling of like traditional animation. Otherwise, there are like many other softwares and techniques that you can use. There are like After Effects is a software of like 3D softwares like Blender that you can use. But yeah, and to be clear, yes, for the majority of the time I do digital art. So I'm not like a person that like use brushes and colors and do paintings. I just draw on my iPad, and that's what I love.
Yeah, you wanted to draw it.
Yeah, it's an urge that it's hard to, like stop or suppress. Like if you like to draw, you have to draw.
Yeah.
What's your favorite things that you have created?
What is my favorite thing? I feel like that the favorite thing that I've created is a project called The Happy Broadcast. Okay.
What's that about?
So a few years ago, I decided that I wanted to do something to spread like, good news and positivity. And so I started this project on Instagram, and every week I post like a few illustrated positive news. And so it's on Instagram. It's called The Happy Broadcast, and it has a big audience now. It's like 750,000 followers. It's like a lot.
Wow.
It's
a
almost,
lot of people.
yeah, and it's not just art. It's like art with a purpose. Like so. But in general, like I said, I just love to draw, and in every form and media. Again.
We saw the book you illustrated. Where does pizza come from? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes. So yeah, first of all, I am obsessed with pizza. So like I am Italian, and so that's stereotypical, but I also really, really, really love pizza. I have like so many pizza tattoos on me. Like I love pizza. And Scott Emmons, he's one of the best writers. He's a friend, and we work together at Jeep Job, at Storybot. So we work together plenty. And he started to these like independent like publishing, house. And I just loved it. And so I was like, hey, whenever you have something about food, come to me.
It was perfect because it's pizza.
Yeah, and he came back and he said like, hey, what do you think about doing a book about pizza? And I was like, absolutely. And and we talk. He sent me the story. I was like sending some notes just to make sure that like all the details about the ingredients were like accurate. And then it was just like a fun, collaboration, just drawing. He was giving me feedback, and, at the end of every book, there are also games. So it was like super fun to also work on the game part. And we packaged it, and, I love it. It's one of my favorite books that I've done.
That's great. And how long did it take to illustrate the book?
Not long. I'm very fast when it comes to drawing. So I feel like I did the sketches probably in a day for all the pages. And then and I did everything on Procreate. So just to also talk about the software used, I feel like it took me, I don't know, like a couple of weeks to finish everything, and probably like a couple of days for the cover. Yeah.
Where can people get the book?
They can get it online. So like you can also go to Amazon and just type in like where does pizza come from, and that's the first book that is gonna come across. But yeah, I mean it's a great book. So like I've used it. If it's too late and I've already had pizza and I still crave pizza, I just drop the book. I just color the illustrations.
Are you working on another book?
I'm working on one of my on my book that I wrote and I almost finished. I mean it's a funny book because it's a book about, it's called like The Legend of Rambletham. Yeah, and it's called the most epic adventure in your tummy because because I have so many kids that ask me, like, why do we fart? And that's a true story. And so I wanted to make a book about like telling them why kids fart. So it's a story about like cauliflowers and beans and Brussels sprouts and cheese.
That's funny.
The your tummy. So yeah, that's my next book. I don't know if I'm gonna find a publisher for it, but I'll try.
So you don't know when it's going to be out yet, or?
No, it's almost finished, but then I will try to find a publisher, and if I cannot find a publisher, I will just release it for free. So I will just give it away for free because it's in a digital format, of course. Like, you can read it in a digital format. Yeah.
Is it another like coloring book?
Not that I know, but maybe I'll do another one with Scott. Maybe on pasta. So something Italian again, but not pizza, or maybe focaccia. Who knows?
For any young listeners out there, do you have words of advice for them?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that the best words of advice that I can give is just like, we can only share what happened to us and like, made us who we are. So I feel like that for me, it was really like following my passion, like I was lucky enough to be born in a family that gave me options. So I didn't have to follow one path specifically, but I chose to follow the creative path, which in the beginning wasn't the easiest one. Like you can ask any parent and maybe their like preferred like career for you is like a lawyer, a doctor, banker, I don't know. So when you say like, no, I want to be an artist, like it's more of a challenge, but I feel like that the most important thing is like, if you feel like that you have that gift inside of you, if you have creativity, if you breathe creativity, if you always want to do creative stuff, you should like stick to that passion and try as hard as you can to make it.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much for letting us interview you.
Of course. Thank you so much for those were like amazing questions, and I'm very happy I did this.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.